either in a physical fight with, or in a physical fight with, or from the goddamn physical fight with, and loudly proclaim that. Wrestling business, he didn't ever get a fucking show. So, you know, there's nothing unusual. It was CM Punk's this thing, more appropriately, is post on Instagram. Is Dave Brooks on his website's radio show. People pay for subscriptions and they get access to these things, including from radio shows. So they've got a paywall over there. They have a paywall. People pay for a number of things to have the ability to message board and say all sorts of things. He approved the show referenced this. Steve Coleman, which again he wrote the forward for. And it said this is something that CM wants to come back. And he really wants to come back again. In order to do so, he needs to apologize to the What? Yes. Oh boy.
Let's find out what's going on
Dave
here.
knows that Tony's talking to Punk, so when he says Punk wants
This
to come
place
back,
seems nice.
Dave knows that
I
Tony
should
is
come back for
talking to
another
Punk.
visit.
And this is the way it is.
I assume you mean
It's
during
not like
opening hours.
he's bringing it, but don't you
Maybe.
think, honestly, since Punk is sitting at home getting a check for multiple tens of thousands of dollars every week, I don't know how to do that kind of math with a calculator. When he realizes how much giant fucking money he's getting every week to sit at home and be no benefit whatsoever by their
Oh,
choice.
this is too nice to be hiding behind
so
some
it's like
dusty old glass.
He's not begging for his choice.
You know you
He's not
can't keep
begging
that,
for his
right?
money. He's not begging.
Gotta be a way to open this thing.
Which is
Where are you heading,
concept.
stranger?
What's this? A recording?
And if anybody
We need
thinks
to
that
find a way inside that safe.
recording that they have talked,
Looks like we'll need more of those
and the
creepy
folks
head
that
statues to reach it.
have said that they've had several conversations with CM Punk. So one would think that there was something that was going to lead out of that, and all of a sudden another story comes up, which is the one
What's the harm in taking home another little keepsake?
The harm is something a judge will decide.
they
If you
tell
don't
him
put
to
that
Dave
back.
something, he will believe them wholeheartedly because he's a sap. And he will refuse his EVPs. He knows. CM Punk promotes the man.
Guess
He's
this
not
wasn't
a
to his
person
taste.
who likes to be disrespected or have all of this shit. Same way in public, when he does the same thing. That's how this all started.
Feels like the answer's around here somewhere.
That's
Maybe
what
I should-
started it. That's what continued this whole thing.
Okay.
Anytime it
Not
looks
that
like
way. Gotta keep looking.
Tony and Punk on some business. Then the fucking little ragtag lollipop deal that runs his television has to do something on TV like they did Wednesday night, by the way, when they had a shot of the production truck in the parking lot. They leaned tables and cardboard up over Punk's face on the side of the truck for the camera shot. Only person just
I wonder if
convenient.
it comes in black.
Or the story like that comes out and it now makes Punk's response, which we'll get to in a second, makes more sense of some inexplicable shit that they did on TV quite a while back. But he has to defend himself. He's not the one slandering these other fuckers in public. He's apparently being professional and not talking to people about this.
Seems useful.
Works the feeding, everything they can feed to the fucking guys that are lapping it up and then spitting it back out. And it pisses him off, and he fucking fires back. And then they get the hose. He's still mad. So,
Looks like we found the right card.
is he opening? Say something. This is something I want to make sure is said. I report that a lot of this. Someone show me where I've been wrong. I'm not discussing and gather information. I've never spoken to CM Punk. I've never heard from CM Punk. I've never heard from anyone that I know of that's in CM Punk's, whatever you want to call it, are wrestlers that are really close with him, everything I've said has been from the point of view of someone who's actually just tried to figure out the story. Observation. So the other day you brought up this comment, we'll talk about it in a minute, but did you really know that this really right back? That's really what I meant. Because I've seen all sorts of shit, whether it's in the Observer or just coming right out of Dave Meltzer's mouth or in various other places, that I know is a spin that is wrong based on everything I know from what's been going on and what's happened. And that's from never hearing about anything from the beginning. So I hope it comes out. Either confirms or says we're wrong about things. You say, last guy that people said, oh, he's mad again. This is the first time I've heard anything from him. He made a joke at that combat show he did commentary on, but we never hear from him. We never do. And the stories that we constantly see out there, or sometimes in a lot of cases, have a story. And I'm not even talking about this person did this. We have this issue with him. And then the story ends, not, and then Punk was gone and this person had issues with someone else. That part is never really part of it. There are certain wrestlers that get some protection from the Observer. But I just want to point that out. I never hear from CM Punk any things on the court. People accuse me of being someone getting stuff from Punk just because what I look for says that Punk isn't the devil of professional wrestling. Again, there's a lot that you can but a lot that you can glean.
Another one of those head
What's
statues.
going on?
We'll need to find a way to reach
This
it.
should have already been settled long ago. They need talent over there bad, as this past Wednesday night's TV program showed. But nevertheless, so get it on Kern's biography.
Hello, Mom.
Dave starts going on
Bye,
about
Mom.
he wants to come back. He wants to come back, but he's going to have to apologize to everybody for what? For having his space invaded and being rushed by a bunch of fucking EVPs, employees of the company, but nevertheless, that's energy from the good Christian boys. Well, they give and forget over there and all that stuff. Some people pretend they're religious, but when you really look at their fucking lives and the way they behave, the way they do things, it has nothing to do with the teachings of Jesus Christ.
Underestimated this art gallery.
Right, but nevertheless,
Yeah,
so
that
now
was about as painful as I expected.
the story
This
is
could
about
be dangerous.
Don't worry. I've got plenty of life.
What happened next, oh great Brian Last? That's where Mr. Murphy had to make a few things clear. Well, no, that's not what happened. That's not. Oh, I'm sorry, I missed a step. Again, going back to Dave Meltzer and Brian Alvarez's message board, a message board that people pay a membership to have access to, and then they can anonymously put whatever they want. Typically, these things are left up. It's very interesting. When Dave went on there in a thread about all this Punk stuff and his face being covered up on Dynamite, and said, do you know why they didn't advertise Punk versus Moxley longer? And why it had a short build? Because Punk agreed to it. Then AEW got a legal letter saying he wasn't down with it. He wasn't doing it. And they didn't know if he'd come until Tony put his foot down. There are a lot of nice things I can say about him. And you can absolutely argue his position on Moxley was correct. But you can't argue he willingly did what he was asked in that scenario. Okay. So that specifically, that I don't think you knew that or saw that, but that specific. No, I don't read Dave's tricklings anymore. But that was the TV episode like a week or two before the pay-per-view where it was going to be Moxley and Punk, but then suddenly we got Moxley and Punk, and Moxley beat the shit out of him in like 3 minutes. And then a week or two later, they had a pay-per-view match, and that's where Punk won, but in the process of himself. So we couldn't figure out at the time what in the flying fuck was Tony thinking, or why would you do that? What's going on? Apparently, now we have more insight in it from what Punk says Moxley's reaction was and how this whole thing came up. Well, let's just remind everyone what Dave Meltzer's saying is that the reason the match didn't happen was because Punk agreed to it and then had his lawyer send in a letter and refused to do it until Tony put his foot down and made him do it. CM Punk responded on Instagram briefly, and a post that was taken down. Sigh. I wasn't cleared to come back to wrestle yet. Then, the plan was to wrestle at the pay-per-view. I sat and listened to Moxley's Rocky III idea. I explained how I'd never seen a Rocky movie and thought the idea sucked, but if the boss wanted to do it, whatever. He said he wouldn't lose to me. I'd never experienced someone refusing to lose to me. I just laughed. He asked me if this is what he wanted. He said yes. He's the boss, so I said okay, but I needed to be cleared first. They kept saying it could just be a squash, so I didn't need to be cleared. A squash, if you're the one who ropes, probably do. They kept saying it could just be a squash, so I didn't need to be cleared. I scoffed at that. My health is more important. Dave Meltzer is a liar. Jericho is a liar and a stooge. Well, I'll tell you right there, when you're a liar, that's one thing. A stooge. Well, you're just in a sad fucking state. There were plans. Plans always change. I'll never put a company above my health ever again. So again, we never hear anything from CM Punk. There's CM Punk finally defending himself for once.
I'm not
Explain
prepared.
to me what the fuck about what they did had anything to do with Rocky 3. In Rocky, I think this is what it would be. I've seen Rocky 3. It's been a while. Explain to me how there were similarities there. I can't say that's match against Carl Angus and T. Then he has to go train with Creed and learn a new way to fight. And then he comes back and ultimately gets a victory despite. Okay, well, yes, but first of all, remember we talked about how he was in a position that Tony had put himself and his company in because he didn't have the strong people to come back and
Congratulations. Puzzles like these usually go way over my head.
Glad you approve. Just one more statue to place. I hope they've got insurance.
was allegedly a babyface at that point too. Besides,
And I thought I had a head for hiding places.
This better not be a setup.
You did it.
We're selling tickets to
Good now.
Ah, what a waste.
people at a press conference and have a sanctioned fight, and then Clover went out with it, and 10 days later.
It might take a certain well-known thief to crack this safe.
It wasn't like, oh, we're having this. It wasn't the original Rocky and Clover fight. Was that some kind of charitable situation they were doing or some version of fighting that with Thunder? No, Thunder was a charitable. But regardless, the problem is Moxley thinks he's fucking clever. The problem is Moxley thinks he's a fucking wrestler. But now we know that it wasn't Tony Khan being just weird and crazy. It was Moxley basically saying, well, I'm gonna fucking beat him first, or else I'm not gonna put him over. And so they shoehorned that deal in. Because Moxley had to have remember I said, look, when he came out on the pay-per-view, I said, it looks like he's got job face on. And he had job face even though he just fucking beat the guy 2 weeks beforehand. And this is the kind of shit that Tony thinks is not only good ideas, but then allows this stuff to be used to slander the biggest star that he's got, who's not been on his television in 7 months. And it promises to set the record straight again. Everybody look at potential liabilities for things. That's, again, he is the boss. And I say this in name only. Even though he's the boss, he owns everything, he pays everybody, he doesn't have to go through a corporate. Sure, he doesn't have to go through all the various shit that big rated companies do, or that Sinclair when they bought Ring of Honor. I told you a story about Adam Pearce and the merchandise weasel. And it was just that it's the wrestling business. It's the same thing as the Steve Burton Noble Bear story, except it is differently because in today's time, we have either lawyers or human resources or fucking structures in place in the wrestling business. Sinclair bought Ring of Honor. Announced team was set to be Adam Pearce and Kevin Kelly. Dear old Adam from the WWE leaguer manager role now. And I was told that there was problems. I knew that there's been problems between Adam and the previous Ring of Honor office, and basically the guy that was still there was Chris Eagles.